This is a podcast where we take movies and twist the plot to see if we can make them better. And if not, snoggier.
At the moment, we're talking about teen movies from the noughties.
On this episode, Angus, Thongs and Perfect Snogging from 2008.
I'm Anders, and if you haven't noticed, I'm a woman now. I wear a bra.
I'm Emma, but apples give you wind. This is our, I believe, second British film.
I know, and I'm sorry, Britain. Isn't it wild that we've watched over 100 movies and only 2 of them were set in Britain? I'm sorry. I don't know why. I thought America just capitalized on the old teen thing.
Yeah, it's this one and the Spice Girls movie, I'm pretty sure. I couldn't think of any other British ones.
The 2 really good examples of
British cinema at its finest.
Britain.
We have got some more good British films
funny.
coming up, so it's okay.
Oh my goodness.
So this is Angus, Thongs and Perfect Snogging. It is a British teen film set in Eastbourne, which is a seaside town near Brighton, if you know where that is.
Yeah.
And it centres on a girl called Georgia Nicholson, who is a teen girl. She's 14 in the film. And here's a fun fact for you that I'm sure will become relevant, which is that I'm the same age as her. We're the same age.
I get it.
She has 3 friends that she hangs out with, like they're in a little group of 4. And she has a cat called Angus, who's very wild and wears lots of fun outfits. And then is basically just really unhappy with her life. She's really unhappy with her parents. She finds her sister really annoying. She doesn't like her appearance. She wants to change her appearance all the time. And is just very fixated on that sort of thing. She's very fixated on her nose as well. And she is suddenly, her life changes when one day 2 boys are new to her school.
Sex gods.
Tom and Robbie turn up, and her and her friends are all obsessed with them. And then she basically spends the rest of the movie trying to seduce Robbie and become his girlfriend. She's also very fixated on having a very cool 15th birthday party, and is very demanding on her parents about having that. And then it sort of all works out, but not without a bunch of different obstacles in the way, including Lindsay, who's Robbie's kind of first girlfriend. She also ends up sort of betraying one of her friends a little bit. So there's the usual obstacles. Oh, and at one point she's going to move to New Zealand as well. But eventually it all works out in the end fine, and she starts going out with Robbie. This is it's actually based on 2 books. The first one is called Angus, Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging, and It's Okay, I'm Wearing Really Big Knickers. So that's from 1999 2000, those 2 books. And the plots are like amalgamated into this film. It's also directed by Gurinder Chadha, who directed Bend It Like Beckham. So they're kind of I guess in a similar vein in that sense. And we should probably do Bend It Like Beckham. I can't remember if it's in the 2000s.
That was in the 2000s,
yeah,
right?
I'm pretty sure
I'm pretty sure it is, because I've never seen it.
Yeah, we should do that. Spoiler alert, is better than this. But yeah, it also has Aaron Taylor Johnson in it as the kind of love interest, and Georgia Groom plays the main character, Georgia, who fun fact is now married to Rupert Grint off of Harry Potter. So yeah,
for real.
And also the Eleanor Tomlinson is in it, and she was in she's in what's that called, the Cornwall program that everyone's obsessed with, Poldark. Eleanor Tomlinson plays Poldark's wife now. So and Alan Davies, obviously.
Dude, and Alan Davies, and for whatever reason, comedian and beloved, national treasure Alan Davies is in this movie.
Yes,
which was really weird. Did I ever tell you one time I was up in Edinburgh during the Fringe Festival, and was walking down the street, and I saw Alan Davies, and I didn't know what to do, because I don't know how to be normal in general, but especially around famous people or people that I know or whatever. And I pointed at him with two fingers, both my pointies, and said, "Alan Davis, nice." And he looked at me like I had just given him, like the look of someone who just ordered a fresh, fruit salad at a diner and has just been given a charred steak with confusion and a little bit of incredulity. And then he walked away forever out of my life.
Yeah.
Still pretty cool though.
He went to uni with my mum.
What?
Yeah.
Did they know each other?
They did. I think he might have asked my mum out once. I don't know though. This is based on my mum's history, so I'm not sure if it's true, but yeah, apparently. Yeah, so this film, like I said, it's very interesting because I'm the same age as the character. So I think she's 14 in the film. I think she would have been 16 and I would have been 16 when it came out. So I was a little bit older than her when it came out, but still super relevant. Even worse, and this is a thing that has followed me around forever. In fact, I wonder, I'm interested to know what your perspective on this is going to be. You know, when people do that thing of saying, like, oh, which celebrity do you look like?
Right.
For me, constantly Georgia Groom.
Really?
All the time.
Okay.
Yep. And when I was 16, this film came out, everybody was saying to me, oh my God, you look a lot like Georgia from Angus, Thongs and Perfect Snogging. And
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
And then I've had it like I don't get that anymore, I guess, because I'm like old now. But
so is she.
She's not really a celebrity anymore, though. I think she just did this film and a few other roles, but she's not really been in anything else major.
I never heard of her.
No, but I always, sorry, Georgia Groom, if you're listening, I'm sure you're a very attractive, wonderful lady, but I didn't take it as a compliment. I would say potentially because the character is portrayed as deliberately quite like unappealing in some ways. So I always used to find it very insulting and be like, no, I don't look like her.
That's so funny.
But I guess
can see.
You can see it. Oh.
I can see it. People thinking it at the time,
yeah,
because you're the same age, and I don't know, have brown hair.
I had the same haircut as well with the fringe, the sweeping fringe.
Yeah. Did you have crippling? What am I asking? Yeah, I know that as all teenagers do. Had the crippling doubt and the.
I don't think I was. I don't think I would say I don't think I was ever quite as boy obsessed as this film makes out like teenage girls to be, and partly because I didn't have boys at my school, but I don't think I was ever quite that insane. I'd like to think.
They focused 100% of their time specifically on the different rankings of making out with dudes and trying to make out with dudes.
But then I was one of those insane teenagers, like in which one is it where there's the girl who's in love with Shakespeare and she's like, oh, I'm dating Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
Is that 10 Things I Hear About You?
Yeah, in 10 Things. Yeah, it's great.
I think so.
You were more her.
I was more in that kind of realm because I was like the Twilight girl who was like, oh, I'm not interested in real human teenage boys because I'm too mature for all that. I'm interested in Edward Cullen, a 118-year-old vampire. Yeah. Whereas I just decided, like as a sophomore in high school, that high school girls were not as mature and interesting enough for me. So I pursued people who were out of my league and much older than me. But we do what we. When you're in high school, you just decide, you hone in on something and then you stick with it. With this movie, these girls just wanted to kiss a lot, which I thought was, I don't know, you think that was too over the top, or was that actually how, in your experience, how teenage girls actually acted in the 2000s? I definitely knew girls who were like that. I wouldn't say it's totally far off. I guess watching this film is very much adjacent for me to watching She's All That in 1999 for you. Like the outfits, exactly this was basically what my life was like. The outfits, the things in her bedroom, like the sugar magazines, the lip gloss, like language, calling everyone a fitty. Like, absolutely.
I did wonder about that. It felt authentic.
Yes,
in that like
saying Minga a lot. Such a Minga.
This movie looks so 2008.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
There's one scene where it's Jazz and Georgia, and Jazz is wearing like a pink sort of like thin walnut sweater with a low cut V top and a white top underneath, and then Georgia is wearing like a spotty t-shirt with a sort of weird like boat collar, and I'm pretty sure I owned both of those exact outfits. Like spot on.
Oh, so good. So let me tell you a couple things. I have two things that I thought were weird about this movie, a lot of stuff that I really liked about it, and a couple of like niggles. Which do you want to hear first?
Just maybe the good stuff. Let's start with the good stuff.
Let's start with the good stuff. And the bad stuff isn't even really that bad. It's just that I had some thoughts, you know?
Yeah.
Overall, I've never heard this movie. I've never seen this movie. I've never heard of anybody in this movie other than Alan Davis and the actor who's what's her name who was in Fresh Meat. You know the popular girl who was also
Lindsay.
having a party.
Yeah.
Right. She's whatever she's the Welsh lady she's the Welsh person from that movie, from that TV show. But I never heard of this. I never heard of this movie. I never even when you said Angus, the thongs, and the whatever. I was like, what are you talking about? And then also I thought it was I thought you were talking about the movie Angus, which was a different movie from the 90s in America. But we're not doing the 90s, we're doing the 80s. So I watched this movie. I have to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Oh, cool.
I thought it was sweet.
Yeah,
and
it's sweet, isn't it?
You know, it was sweet. I found it to be... I was thinking about, this is going to be a weird, strap on some running shoes because we're going for a long trip. Maybe not that long, but this is what I was thinking about. Did you ever watch Top Gear in the 90s? Or like the early 2000s?
Probably, yeah, probably.
I realize in saying that this is not relatable content potentially for our wider audience, but here we go. I used to watch Top Gear sometimes, not because I like cars, because I don't really care about cars, but I used to think it was sort of funny and like British, but that was before I moved to Britain and understood the complexities of the people who host that show and realized that I'm probably not a fan of Jeremy Clarkson or any of those guys. James May, a long shot, but that's it. Anyway, they used to have this wall of cool where they would stick up pictures of cars, rating them from really not cool to ice cold, super cool,
Yeah.
I was thinking about that scale, not in the coolness, but in the spectrum of reality portrayed in teen movies that we watch. Mm-hmm. In that we've watched movies that are gritty and scary and sad and really intense and really feel for real teenagers.
Yeah.
But then on the other end, we watch movies that seem like they should have been cartoons because they're so so not linked to reality and they're just sort of silly and sort of whatever. And I was fantasizing about what if you and I had a picture of all the movies we ever did and we could put them up on this wall, But I don't know why I was thinking about that. But I was whilst I was watching another movie we were watching for the podcast. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is this. This one, whilst it felt a bit squeaky clean and a little bit tame or whatever, was one of the rare ones that for me felt really authentic.
Yes.
Right? It's not perfect, but I just felt like
it's real teenagers, isn't it?
This is real teenagers that not even whatever they're talking about or the themes of this movie. I know it's a bit ridiculous and it's just all about kissing or whatever, but they just seemed like real teenagers talking to real teenagers.
Well, most of them actually are.
Like that.
Yeah, like I said, Georgia Green was 14 playing a 14-year-old, which is rare, right?
And they're usually 20.
Yeah.
So, and also I kind of like that it was a high school movie that the whole time was about them outside of school,
Yeah.
But still was about school and stuff, and that was very, very good. But yeah, overall, I really liked it. I'm assuming this is, is this one of your, I know you say you're the same age, and people used to say that you look like her and stuff. Is this one of your, treasure trove, castaway, desert island, teenage, your own history movies, or is it just a movie that you remember?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think it's a nice film because it captures a very specific time for me. Like I said, it's very relatable in a lot of ways.
Right.
And purely time-based absolutely. Like, it feels, oh my God, yes, that's exactly what it was like. And even stuff like the music, like, she's so lovely, you know, that is what I was listening to at the time.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me when they have the big club at the end. I always used to think that was such a cool scene when I was young, and now I'm looking at it and it's a liquid, and I'm like, oh my God, liquid.
Yeah.
Like, that's the grubbiest club that I went to at uni when, you know, there was nowhere else to go. It's really funny.
Is that like a chain of clubs?
It's just like,
Liquid.
it's the sort of, it's like a big bar club that you have usually in like small cities or large towns.
Okay.
Liquids, yeah. So that was
I didn't
very
know
funny.
that.
And yeah, I guess. Oh, I also had an absolutely massive crush on Aaron Johnson, because of course. So that was very important and meaningful to me.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it does do a lot of things that there's quite a lot of cringe comedy in it, which is never the one for me. But I like that there are moments where it's clear that Georgia's character, the way she's endearing, is that she kind of sort of embraces it. Like, the bit I really like is when she's in the swimming pool with the fake tan, which is absolutely a relatable experience. And she's got these horrible orange legs, and then she just kind of laughs like, oh God, it's so cringe. Like, I like that, because that's, I think that is authentic, that she's doing these silly things and isn't just being like a perfect girly girl. And like when she shaves her eyebrow off and stuff like that.
Great.
Just, yeah, it's really
great.
fun.
It's great.
So yeah, I like that a lot, but I think some of the cringe comedy is not great. I do find Georgia a bit grating as well. Like, she's very self-centered. She's a bit awful to her friends, which again, probably lots of 14-year-olds are like that. But I do think it does the not like other girls thing quite a lot, which I always find, which always bothers me. It's very much like, you know, at the end, Aaron Johnson, whatever his name is, Robbie, there's literally a moment where she says, like, are you going to choose plastic fake Lindsay who stuffs her bra, or are you going to choose me, authentic brunette Georgia who's silly? And it's just like, no, you don't need to do, you know, it was 2008, it was a different time, but we don't need to do this, like, ugh. And I've always thought this. She has this really great group of three friends. Well, there's four of them all together. Yeah. They're all really tight. They're all really good mates. They do loads of fun stuff together. I'm like, what are you complaining about? Like, you've got this really nice group of girlfriends. Yeah. Like, ugh.
You also live on the south coast of England. You have daily access to a beautiful beach, which is great, right?
Yeah.
That's lovely. It's a beautiful looking town. I've never been to Eastbourne, but I've been to Brighton. I know what it's nice.
Brighton's better.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Eastbourne not as nice.
It's all right. It's a bit. No offense to anyone from Eastbourne, but it's not
pretty good in this movie.
I wouldn't choose to live there personally, but still.
All right, let me paint this though. Imagine you live near the beach, and at any point you can just be like, "I'm gonna go write poetry on the beach." You know?
Yeah.
That's great.
It's great. And you have a nice cat. But then that is the point of the film, isn't it? Is that she learns to appreciate the things she already has. Like, by the end of it, she's going, oh, I actually don't mind my parents. Because when at the start of the film, her parents are being very affectionate with each other and she hates it. And you're like, no, it's great that your parents really get on. They're really nice.
All right, well, I'm glad you brought up the parents, because other than it being Ellen Davies, I was a little bit, I found myself I found myself invested in the story of the parents, probably more than I should have been, or rather more than the film would want you to. Like, I was really thinking about Alan Davies and his wife, like most of the movie, because they start out snogging and like loving each other. Then he gets this huge job opportunity, which I grant you is in a different country, and that's complicated.
Yeah.
He goes, and the same day, the mom brings over a topless painter or whatever to like paint the living room and like drink wine with her and stuff. Like, that was unsettling to me. I was like, oh, that's a relationship that's not going well. But then they're just like kissing at the end, and everything's fine, you know?
Yeah.
Was I too invested in the parents?
I mean, if it helps at all, I have such a vague memory of the books because again, it's like what,
Right.
15 years ago I read them. But the I know that the New Zealand plot is in the second book. So the main, like I said, there's 2 books squished together. So the whole thing of the second book is that she's already going out with Robbie, and then this whole thing of am I going to go to New Zealand or not comes up. Whereas in the first one, it's just am I going to get with Robbie? So I think it's kind of
sure.
Yeah, it is a little bit jammed in there. So that he's just and it's really funny because it's the only time you see him like in New Zealand. He's just standing on like a really generic balcony, like, "Oh, I'm in New Zealand."
I'm in New Zealand.
Yeah,
are you really?
Sure.
I just was sad. I was just like, I'm sad if there was like some, infidelity led, based on like a lack of communication. But at the beginning of the movie, they were so happy.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think that bothered me very much personally. I don't know, and it's also really funny that it's Steve Jones. I was like, I forgot it was Steve Jones. It's like, oh my god. What?
It's weird. It's just weird. It's just like
because he's like,
what is he from? I don't even know. I recognize his face, but I couldn't place him.
So what he does now is he's a presenter for Formula One. It's really funny.
What?
And he used to. I think he was a Blue Peter presenter, maybe, or he was a newsround presenter.
That's awesome.
He was a children's TV presenter.
Nice.
He's a TV presenter. Now he presents Formula One. So it's very funny. He didn't really go on to have like an illustrious career as an actor. But again, of the time, he would have been the sort of man who was appearing in those teen girl magazines. So he was a good casting choice, certainly. But yeah, it's really funny.
So the only other thing I felt like I took slight umbrage. Yeah. And like I have a habit of focusing on things that are totally not important, but that really stick in my craw for a long time. And I'm not just talking about this podcast or movies. I'm talking about me in life in general. Okay. And the thing that really bugged me about this movie, that who's the boy that she ends up with at the end? Robbie? No. Robbie. He's in this band. And they're
the Stiff Dillons.
Yeah, Stiff Dillons, and he keeps talking about how he's writing lyrics and he's writing songs, and he goes to the beach and he writes all these songs, and she's all like, I really want to come and see your band, and then she goes and sees his band, and the song they play is a cover of like a famous, like a cover from the 60s, and it's not his song. That bugged me. But covers are fine. People like covers. It's great, right? And they were a pretty good sounding band.
I would argue that as a 14-year-old watching that film, I wouldn't know it was a cover. I just think, oh, wow, what a great songwriter he is.
I forget it was like a Kinks song or something. And I'm watching this going like, Robbie, you were just talking about writing a song about your girlfriend. You didn't even sing it. But that's not what bothered me, okay? What bothered me is this. Usually bands have like a drummer, a bass player, a guitar player, maybe 2. And that's usually what it is. Usually 4 people. Sometimes 3, usually 4. Did you see how many guitar players this band had?
I didn't notice.
There were 3 guitar players. Okay?
Right.
There were 3 guitar players, a bass player, a drummer, and I think another guy playing maracas. It was insane. They were all at the front of the stage. 2 lead guitar players and a rhythm section. It doesn't make any sense. And I kept going, there's just too many guitars on this stage. And my wife was like, you should watch the movie. And I was like, but look how many people are playing guitar. You're not the traveling Wolberries, right? What are you doing up there? It was insane. There were 7 people in that band. I can't handle it. Everything else about this movie was fine. But it's untenable. Right? This is the moment when I look around. This is the moment when I look around and I realize that I'm stood on a soapbox and nobody's listening to me.
I mean, I guess so. I don't know. I don't know enough about bands to be able to validate your feelings on that, I'm afraid.
3 guitar players. This is a joke.
But would you not say that, like, if they're all like 14, 15, they wouldn't really know like oh, we'll just get a band. We'll have a bunch of guitarists. Our thing will be that we have 3
way.
guitars.
But it should have been called the 3 guitar Dylans or whatever.
Mm.
No, the kids aren't that smart. Kids, and famously, bands usually are 3 people or 4. That's just how it is, because you wouldn't be able to be like, hey, I play the guitar. Cool, let's form a band.
Oh, I bet I know what it was.
We need 2 more people who play guitar.
I bet I know what it was. I bet it was that it is a band already, and then they just had Aaron Johnson join it.
Oh, you think?
They were like, oh, we need a band. Here's a band. And then he's in the band, so he's also there. So he's the extra.
I'm going to Google this. What was the name of the band? What are they called? The Dirty Dylans?
The Stiff Dylans.
The Stiff Dylans?
Oh my gosh.
That could be a band in Angus and Thongs. I'm just going to see if that was an existing band or if that was a whole gimmick or whatever, right? Oh.
Am I right?
I'm on Wikipedia. The Stiff Dylans found fame after being featured in Angus, Thongs and the Perfect Snogging and performing several songs on the soundtrack. Holy guacamole, they're a real friggin' band.
I knew it. Hey.
All right. Okay, all right. Members: James Flanagan, vocals and guitar. Charles Ryde, guitar, backing vocals. Matt Harris, bass, backing vocals. And Thomas Slater, drums. It's a 4-piece band.
Ha! Nailed it.
Holy crackers. You've knocked this thing wide open.
I have.
They were a real band, and then the 2 sex gods had to be part of the band.
I think it's just the one sex god was part of it.
Oh.
I don't know, maybe the Tom was in it as well.
Oh, also the song was not a Kink song. It was a Buzzcock song called "Ever Fallen in Love." You know that one?
Yeah.
Never fallen in love, and then I fallen in love.
Never mind.
That one? Never.
Get
Rich.
It. Thank you. I guess I didn't have that much attention to detail. I haven't actually seen this film that much. I would say I saw it probably once or twice when I was a teenager, and then I've obviously again now. It's not a kind of sacred relic, but it did really well. I think it's definitely, I would say probably amongst Brits, it's very well known. I feel like this is a very British film.
Yeah, it's so British. It's British as crumpets.
Yeah. I also know that the director was originally brought on as a writer, and she basically, I think it was, I did read it up on this. So basically, a movie studio bought the script, bought the rights, and had a bunch of American screenwriters work on it, and then Gurinder Chadha came along and read it and was like, "You're just trying to Americanize this script, and it's not real and it's not authentic, and you're trying to make it into something that it isn't, and Hollywood doesn't know how to deal with this because you're not British." And then basically just kind of rewrote it herself, I think with some other writers. But yeah, and that's why it's much more authentic. But it definitely could have been a bit of a travesty if it was Americanized. And I think Bend It Like Beckham is like that as well. It's very authentic to the British experience, definitely.
I mean, would it be rude not to try to Americanize this in the twist? I mean, is that what we should be thinking about?
I guess we could try.
Well, because it, knowing that was the thing that they said that we shouldn't do, it's a bit like, don't touch that button. Whatever you do, don't touch that button. Please don't touch that button. You want to touch the button, you know?
I would love if there was a copy out there of an original. What's the American word for thongs? Is it still thongs? Maybe panties. Archie panties and
Archie panties and the
what's snogging in? What's the equivalent?
Well, I mean, making out or tonsil tennis.
Oh God.
You never heard that one, right? It would be called Tom underwear in the makeout party.
Yeah.
Richard Richard Bikini in the Kissin' Fest down in Spring Break. Richard Spring Break and his tongue fest.
Chad panties and first base.
Yeah. First base is pretty good. Or like Bill boxers and swap and spit on the old swap and spit with Bill boxers and his big old booty and the kissing sisters.
I do think that snogging is probably one of my. I do like that as British slang. It's a good one. Snog.
It's very nice. It's
You'd be
weird.
like, oh my god, did you hear that she totally snogged him? Oh my god.
Totally.
They were totally. I caught them around the back of the sports hall, totally snogging. Can you believe that?
Totally full snogging with tongue.
He's so fit. He's so pang.
God, he's so fat. He's so fat. And he's cheating on his girlfriend with another bird. Snog with another bird. What a slag.
What a slag. You slag.
Shut a slag.
Is that not American slag?
Slag? Nah, it's a British thing, right?
Doesn't
have to do with isn't it from the whole thing about coal mining and they pour all the stuff on the side?
That is what slag is, yeah. Coal
Isn't that
slag.
Yeah. You're comparing a human to a pile of coal garbage.
Yep. Slaggy Lindsay. Like saying something was slaggy is definitely very
slaggy.
2008. So slaggy.
It's very good. It's very good.
All right, well, let's do that then.
Well, let's do that.
Let's get ourselves over to the twist zone and
spiff buff.
And
good.
stars and stripes all over this.
Follow me if you dare to the twist zone. Diddly, 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 diddly.
Hello, mate. It's me here from Britain. You know, that country that's really small and in the middle of the ocean. And I want to say, why not subscribe to our podcast? If you like it, tell your friends about it and leave us a rating. Thanks, mate. See ya.
All right. Let's get serious for 1 second here. If we're going to make this movie an American movie, all right, I need to know, first of all, we need to commit. And second of all, we need to really, enjoy the process. And third of all, we need to just, throw everything away and then panic and go and get it out of the garbage and bring it back, you know? Mm-hmm. But also, is this movie set in 2008 America or is this set right now?
I don't think I have enough knowledge of what 2008 America would have been like to be able to fully translate it.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know if I do either. I mean, it's like Obama and I don't know. I feel like
Obama, Thongs and Perfect Snogging.
Oh. Yep. Barry Obama and his tons of kissing. Right? Tons of kissing with Michelle Obama.
I think we might be biting off more than we can chew if we try and
to the generic America.
Anchor it in a time period.
It was sometime.
Yeah.
It was sometime. Right.
So Georgia, I don't think Georgia's very American, first of all, as a name. Would you agree?
No, of course not. Yeah, it's not. It's not. It would be Jennifer or Christy for some reason. What are you?
Christy.
All right. Yeah, Christy. Christy or Amanda. Amanda's got to be up there.
Yeah, Amanda. Yeah,
that's pretty American, right?
Hey, I'm Amanda.
It's Amanda, right? And she's a senior in high school, but she's never been kissed. No, she doesn't. She's never been kissed, and she goes back in disguise to get kissed at high school.
Didn't somebody?
No, it's never been done. All right, she's not popular, but this guy who is popular bets that he can make her popular by taking off her glasses.
It just feels somehow.
All right. It's a town where kissing is illegal and you're not allowed to do it, but everybody does it, you know, in secret, like Footloose. No, I don't know. What are the hallmarks of this movie that we need to Americanize?
Well, so I think the names is a good place to start. We've already got Amanda. What would Robbie be called? Again, Robbie feels very British. Maybe
yeah,
Robert.
Robert, Tom, or Chad.
Duck.
It's gotta be Chad. It's gotta be Chad. You nailed it with Chad. You got it in 3. That's the one. Chad, Amanda, and Chad.
And the friends who their names currently, the 3 friends, are Jazz, Ellen, and Rosie, I think. Jazz is very British.
So is Rosie. And even Ellen's pretty dang British. Yeah. Those are all very British names. What are you thinking? Jamie. Yeah. But with like a Y. Jamie. Yeah.
Rosie, Rosa.
Rosa?
Rosalind.
Roz,
like in
Roz.
Frasier.
Yeah.
Ellen,
L, and her name is Elle, and it's not a reference to Stranger Things, but everybody thinks that it is.
Or Clueless. No, not Clueless. What did I mean? Legally Blonde. And then Wet Lindsay can still be Lindsay, right? Because Lindsay's kind of Lohan. Lindsay.
But it can't be Wet Lindsay.
No, like Loose Lindsay. Is that British?
Loose Lindsay.
Loose Lindsay. How about that? Dave the Laugh.
Lindsay.
Dave the Laugh could be Dave. He can still be Dave, right?
Dave. Yeah.
Dave the
Fun Dave.
Fun Dave.
Yeah. Fun. Fun Dave's coming over, and we're playing poker tonight.
And then the parents.
Fun Dave.
The parents, we've got Connie and Bob. Oh my god, it's really funny how British this is when you think about it.
So British. It's so
Connie
British.
and Bob. Connie. I mean, Bob's
fine. Bob could be fine.
Bob
could be fine.
Katie.
Connie.
Bob and Carrie. Carrie. Tara. Tandra. Twyla.
It needs to be some Twyla.
Bob and Twyla.
Bob and Twyla. And Bob is like professional car salesman, but also a bowler. He bowls a lot. Maybe he works in a factory and they have to make him move to a different factory or whatever, you know.
We've also got Peter Dyer, who's the kissy guy. What could he be? Yeah. Peter.
Oh, you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. That was the other thing I didn't get about this movie. You mean the kissing instructor? Because that's a thing. Hey, if there was a job as a high school boy where you could get paid to kiss girls, sign me up as a teenager. Just to be clear, I would also be a teenager. What? That's not a job. Nobody would pay a boy to kiss.
Ew, he was gross as well. No, thank you.
Right? Boys would pay girls to kiss, not the other way around. And also, nobody would pay anybody to kiss. It also is weird. And I don't want... It's an American movie. You can't have that in this movie.
Peter. Yeah.
Where is it?
Petey.
Little Petey.
Kissy Petey.
Yeah. Creepy Petey.
Okay. So instead of Georgia, Robbie, Connie, Bob, Jazz, Rosie, Alan, Wet Lindsay, Tom, Dave the Laugh, Peter Dyer, we have Amanda, Chad, Twyla, Bob. What did we say for Jazz? I've forgotten what we said for Jazz.
You did that from memory? That was so good.
Rosie was Roz.
Yeah.
Oh, Jazz was Jamie. Roz. L. What was Lindsay? Oh, Loose Lindsay. Tom can still be Tom because Tom is Tom. Tom. Fun Dave. Kissy Petey. And then we have Libby as the sister. Libby could be little Liberty.
Liberty. That's a good name for an American because of freedom. Where is this movie going to be set? It's not in Eastbourne.
Well, I think I'm going to have to defer to you there as what the equivalent of like a small like British seaside town
Okay. Same equivalent kind of thing. I'm thinking you got a couple of options, right? Do we want this to be like
Is that one?
ding 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 ding? Do we want it to be set at the beach, or does that not matter?
Well, it has to have the same vibe, I would argue. It's like an equivalent.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily need to be beach based, because obviously we have more beach area.
Well, describe
ratio.
to me in generic terms, what is the vibe in your opinion of Eastbourne? Like, what are the critical components?
Well, Georgia says it herself. It's where people go to die, right? It's like
God's waiting room. It's God's waiting room. Yeah, fine.
What I understand of Eastbourne is it was probably a bit like a proper seaside town in like the Victorian age.
Yep.
And it's like nice, but there's nothing. It's not like happening.
I got it. They're in Florida.
Yeah,
they're in like Orlando or whatever.
Sure.
In a suburb of Orlando, and it's near a retirement community, and they all think it's a bit like, it's a bunch of people who are older. Can there be lots of old people with walkers always getting in the way? Well, not in the way, but like, in the background, going to get the early bird special.
Yeah. What about the cat? Let's translate the cat. So the cat is currently a scruffy grey cat called Angus.
Yeah. Yeah, but in America, it would be 2 pit bulls.
Yeah, it would be a dog, right? It would definitely be a dog. Yeah.
It's 2 dogs. It has to be. And then it has to be that kind of dog that just like slobbers all over everything.
Yes.
But they still love it.
And it's called?
It's called Razor. It's called Wolfie.
Okay.
It's either a huge dog called Wolfie or a tiny dog called Pitbull. Either is fine.
Mr. Worldwide. Very 2008.
Exactly.
Okay, what else did we have? We had the guy who's the interior decorator, Jem. I think maybe we can stick with Jem. That's
fine.
Yeah. What would his job be?
Not decorator. He'd be something bigger. He'd be like a plumber.
Okay.
Right? She wants to put in a
lumberjack?
jacuzzi.
She wants a tree cut down?
Yeah. She wants a big tree cut down because it's blocking her view of the valley or whatever. Right? And he comes over and he cuts it down. But he's all sweaty. So then they drink a bud.
Yeah.
And
he's got like a proper like flannel shirt on. Very good.
Yeah. Buttons it because it's so hot because it's Florida.
Yeah. So the job that Bob goes to in New Zealand, I don't think it would be New Zealand. Where would it be?
It would hella not be New Zealand. It would probably be like Texas if they're in Florida, or maybe he works for like an oil company. Maybe he goes on an offshore oil rig. That could happen. It's near the Gulf of Mexico and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking if it was an American teen film, and because like New Zealand is like a somewhat inviting prospect, isn't it, for a teen?
Oh,
it's
right.
not not like, oh, I'm going to the North Pole and I'm never going to see anyone again, so obviously I don't want to go there. It's like, yeah, you could have a pretty nice life in New Zealand.
What would there?
Yeah. What would the equivalent be for an American? Because initially I was thinking, it would probably be Paris, but then I feel like for a teen girl, like you would want to go to Paris, So it maybe Canada? Would it be Canada?
Maybe Canada. I was thinking the same thing. I have to go and work in Toronto.
Yeah. Or maybe not Toronto.
No, I have to go work in
Saskatchewan or something.
British Columbia, Saskatchewan,
Saskatchewan,
or whatever.
That's it.
Not Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
That's where my company's moving me to the big rig in Saskatchewan. Dad, I don't want to go to Canada. All my friends are here in America. Right?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we've nailed it. And finally, instead of Sugar Magazine, what would it be?
Teen Girl, Little American Princess magazine. Little American Kissing Princess.
And instead of the birthday party at the club, it would be a beauty pageant, right?
Sure, why not? Of course.
Like a teen beauty pageant. Sure.
No, yeah. To beauty pageants is where it's at.
Which is so not a thing in the UK. And if it is a thing, it's not really a thing and nobody cares about it. If there's probably some variant, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's not a thing.
It's not a thing. Hot take. Instead of being in a band, which is very American, but it's not what's happening, the boys are the quarterback and the other quarterback for the football team.
Oh yeah. Americans don't care about music; they care about.
They go to the big game.
Yeah.
They go to the big game. That's what happens, and there's 5 people playing guitar at the same time at the game.
So Amanda and Chad. She wants to go to the beauty pageant. He wants to win the big game. Yeah. Everything else is the same.
Everything else is the same. And maybe the dad is Alan Davies, but he's doing an American accent.
That would be hilarious.
And he does such an amazing job that he wins Best Supporting Actor. He's nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah. No, you know who the dad would be? Paul Giamatti. Bob.
Totally. That's
and the mum would be Sally Fields.
That for real would be can you imagine Sally Fields and Paul Giamatti playing a couple who pretend to love each other but secretly the relationship is falling apart because of career ambitions, but then they come back together and admit that they are actually in love more strong than ever because of their teenage daughter who just wants to kiss all the time?
What about Amanda and Chad? It's a bit of a tough one with Amanda because I would say Georgia Groom, like she's very much not Hollywood. No. You know, she's like a real girl. Oh, of course, it would be Beanie Feldstein, obviously, and then Robbie would be.
Well, I mean.
Stuff. It's I know who it is. It's oh God, what's his name? Wait,
what was he in?
I'm gonna need to Google. He was in the Maze. He was in the Maze Runner. Dylan.
Okay, while you're thinking of that, can I just say that the kissing doctor or the kissing teacher, right?
Yeah.
Michael Cera.
Oh, of course. Or the guy who played McLovin, and it's basically the character McLovin.
Yeah. Either would be great. Either would be great. Just a bit typecasty, but it's very, very good.
Dylan O'Brien.
I don't recognize that name.
So Dylan O'Brien and Beanie Feldstein. That is, which is essentially kind of the movie Booksmart. In fact, who's the guy in Booksmart? I need to look this up again.
Jesus
Booksmart is Beanie Feldstein and this is so. There's nothing worse when you can't remember who a person was.
I know. And it would be really awkward if people out there were like, I know who you're talking about. And they're screaming at their podcast device.
Oh, and also, I don't think, I can't find it, but Ansel Elgort could also be a good pull for this. Oh my God, there's so many options. We should, this is good. There's something we should remake.
And the thing is, this is a good movie, right? It's an American movie about a girl and her friends, and they all want to learn more about kissing. And they're down there in Florida thinking life just is just so lame down here, you know?
Yeah.
Going to the big game. I love it. I love everything about it.
Brilliant.
Right?
Sorted, mate.
Sorted, mate. Yeah, so I love that the podcast that we've our podcast, which is not intentionally basically 100% American content oriented, on the second ever movie about a British people, we make it American.
Yeah, we are bad. We, like I said, we do have more. We will have more British films coming up, though. Don't you worry. Because like I said, this is my time. This is my era.
Yeah,
so
yeah, and I continue to feel very, very, very like at the whim of your own guidance, and it's very weird for me. I'm enjoying it, but
Harry Potter coming soon.
Wait, that's not Harry Potter. I in my head I was like, do the Harry Potter theme, but I did a vague Home Alone ding ding. Right?
Did you mean to do? That's in Harry Potter. We've also got Wild Child, which is about an American who goes to a school in Britain. So,
yeah, relatable content.
That'll be good. And it's got Alex Pettyfer in it, who is another teen, 2000s teen crush. Oh, it's also 2008. Oh, that's fun.
Woo, 2008, big year.
Big
Not
year.
just for Obama, but a big year for all
Big
of
year for Emma. Twilight came out.
Yeah.
Dark Knight came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga's first album. Wild Child. Angus, Thongs and Perfect Snogging. What a year. Great year.
What a year. But
2008 was my 1999 of your life.
Wow. We've really found our Enchantment Under the Sea dance origin story for both of us year,
Yeah.
And if future time travelers, young teenagers who just want to play guitar, or older scientists, want to find another place to find a real base, it's 1999 and 2008 for you and I.
Yep.
Respectively. But we should probably just shelf that, because we have to do a really important thing, and probably the most important thing of this whole podcast. And I know what you're thinking out there, listeners. Is it the most important thing about this podcast? The back and forth and the conversation and the discussion of the film's merits, and then also the twist, which is what the podcast is named after. You're wrong, idiots. It's about rating this movie. And that's it. The most important bit. Emma, I would like to know, on a scale of 1 to 5 delicious organic apples that may or may not give you wind, how many apples would you give the movie? Angus, Thong, and the kissing, and getting up and kissing. Was Angus, Thongs, and the cat who did the snog. How many apples would you give this movie?
I'm going to give it 3.5 because of the relatability points that it has for me. Because I do think it's very authentic. It kind of gave me the 8th grade vibes of it feeling genuine and real, and I really like that. And I like stuff like the music and the clothes. There's very much being able to look at my experience, and I like that. I also don't. It's not very problematic as well, which is good. I think it's not any higher because the dialogue is pretty stilted. I would say that, and but it's real teenagers, a real teenage experience. It felt real to me. 3.5.
I'm right there with you. It wasn't, whatever. I'm not going to nominate this for the Cannes Film Festival or whatever. I'm not going to buy the limited edition Blu-ray that I put on my special shelf of movies that I want to look at and think about and watch again in the future forever. But I did really like it. And I would say this movie would be great. It would be great for Americans to watch. Right? This is a really if you're an American, if you're an American and you want a little slice of what Britain sort of is like, and you like teen movies and you want to watch what they were like on the other side of the pond, I feel like Americans would really like this movie. Right? It's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
So that's your homework, Americans out there. And I know you're listening. I've seen the stats. Some of you are American. Find this movie, guys. And then when you're done that, Google who Alan Davis is, because he's good at stuff. You should watch his TV show, Jonathan Creek. You ever watch Jonathan Creek, Emma? Oh, you're back. You ever watch Jonathan Creek?
A little bit, yeah.
It's a TV show about a guy who solves crimes who lives in a windmill.
Love that. That's the dream. You should also, Americans, you should also watch Bandit Like Beckham. I would argue watch that one before. Prioritize watching that one because that is a really, really good film and has a lot of really interesting things in it. Same director. Watch both.
I met Keira Knightley one time.
Good old Keira.
Yep, fact. So, a couple of celebs I've met in the old zeitgeist of these movies. No big deal. I also met one of the Monty Python guys.
Nice.
I said, I was working at a coffee shop at the time of a famous chain of American coffee shops. And he ordered a black coffee, and I said, nice. That's how I drink it. And he looked at me and said, okay. And then I made it for him, and then he walked away. That was the whole story.
I bet you made a real impact.
He talks about me all the time. That guy who really knew, he really understood what a black Americana was all about,
Yeah.
I also met Anthony Head from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Same shop.
Wow.
Yeah. You know that thing where people are like, hey, man, are you living your best life? I say, well, let me tell you about 3 celebrities that I met one time. And they all look at me the same way that those 3 celebrities did, with quiet wonder, confusion, and standoffishness, you know?
I've probably said this before on the podcast because I it's one of my things that I say a lot, but here's my classic rules for meeting celebrities as someone who used to do this on a semi-professional basis, right?
This is very important content for people. Go on.
Get in, ask them for a second of their time, say, I'm sorry to bother you, can I have a minute of your time or whatever. Give them a genuine, heartfelt, specific compliment about how their work has directly affected your life, and then get the heck out of there. That is it. You go in, you say, hey, I really loved that film that you were in. I thought it was great and I really enjoyed it. Thanks very much. See you later. And then you leave. That is how you do it. That is how to have a good interaction with a celebrity. You don't they're not going to remember you. They don't care about you. They don't care about your life, but if you want to give them like a genuine piece of feedback and thank them for something they've done, great. Otherwise, just go. Like, so one of my favorite celebrity meeting stories was when I met Lee Evans. Had a long queue of people because it was at the end of one of his shows. I was hilariously actually waiting in a queue to meet for a different show that I'd just seen, which was not his show. And it was David Williams and Sheridan Smith. And I was do I want to meet David Williams or do I want to meet Lee Evans? I think we're going to switch queues. Just walked over to the other side of the street and joined his queue.
That's so awesome.
And he was meeting loads of people. And then I was literally the last person. And I just went up to him and was like, hey, I don't know if you I'm sure people don't really talk about this very much. And also, to be honest, I didn't see your show. I'm sure it was great. But you were in a movie called Mouse Hunt, and I absolutely loved that film, and I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid.
Yes,
so thanks very much for the good times.
Yes,
lovely to meet you. Have a nice evening. That's how you do it.
This is how you do it. Listen. So one time, you gotta talk about something niche that they love that nobody asks them about. It's like if you ever meet Tom Hanks and you're all like, "Hey, I like Forrest Gump." No kidding, everybody likes Forrest Gump, right? But if you say, "I really like the Man in the One Red Shoe," that's a good talking point. It's like when my brother one time met Ron Howard, right? The director of tons of famous movies and the guy from Happy Days. He goes up and he says, hey, Ron Howard, you know what I always really liked? I really liked the movie Willow. You ever see Willow?
Now a hit Netflix series.
Series.
Is it Netflix? Might be Disney. I can't remember.
Yeah. Whatever. And Ron Howard said, oh, thanks so much. Nobody ever talks about Willow.
Yeah.
That's what you do, man.
I would say as long as it's genuine. Like, give it genuine.
It has to be genuine.
And if you don't have anything genuine to say to them, if it's some random celebrity and you're like, oh, it's that person off of that thing with him, just leave them alone. Leave them alone.
Leave them alone.
Like, nobody cares.
If I ever meet Sir Paul McCartney, and God willing, I will. All right, I'm not gonna walk up to him and say, "Hey, man, maybe I'm amazed. Nice tune." Right?
Or, oh my God, you're Paul McCartney. You're really famous.
Are you that guy? What's off the Beatles? I'm going to say, hey, Paul McCartney, I got to be honest with you. I'm a big fan. But you know what album I really love? McCartney 2 from 1980. Can we talk about the song Temporary Secretary a little bit? And he'll go, oh, I really like that album. Thanks a lot for listening, you know. I want Plinky Plonky on my bass guitar. You know, like that.
Yeah.
And it'll be great.
Yep. That's how you do it. That's the secret.
Hey, podcast listeners, don't say we never taught you anything. We've taught you loads
of stuff.
So many things, tricks and tips. We're like a life hack, but a podcast version of a life hack. You're welcome, right? And speaking of thank yous and you're welcomes, thanks for listening to this episode of Plot Twisters.
Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you have the time.
And we'll see you next time.
Also, really do leave us a review. Like, it's really good to do that because then,
yeah, man,
not just oh, it promotes us in the charts or whatever, but like
we want to know.
Tell us the stuff that you like, and then we'll do more of it. So do that, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh my god, did you hear that she totally snogged him? Oh my god.